Welcome to another Bitcoin video, y'all. I believe that the more we understand the cryptocurrency space, the better chance we have at actually making a lot of money in crypto. So in this video, we're going to be talking about what a Bitcoin miner is, what a Bitcoin block is, and what a Bitcoin halving is. And it's pretty cool because all of these three terms actually interlace with one another, and you're going to see what I mean in just a moment. So let's start with what a Bitcoin miner is. Every time you send $5 worth of Bitcoin from your Bitcoin wallet to your friend's Bitcoin wallet, there's a Bitcoin miner somewhere out there that picks up the transaction. What that Bitcoin miner is going to do is it's going to process the transaction by validating whether or not you have enough funds to actually pay the person you're trying to pay, and also process the transaction by adding a record to the grand ledger. Now, when it adds these records to the ledger, it doesn't do so one at a time, but rather it adds a whole bunch at a time. It adds a whole page to the ledger at a time. You can think of a block, a Bitcoin block, as a page. It adds a block to the blockchain. It adds a page to the ledger. That page contains all the recent transactions that need to go onto the ledger. It also contains a reference to the last page because all of the pages need to be in order. And lastly, it has proof that this Bitcoin miner has won the opportunity to add the next page to the ledger. I might do a whole nother video on this, but what I mean by won the opportunity, essentially all these Bitcoin miners are competing against one another to solve a puzzle. And whichever Bitcoin miner solves the puzzle first, that Bitcoin miner wins the opportunity to add the next page to the ledger, to add the next block to the blockchain. And then the next puzzle is released and all the Bitcoin miners, again, compete to see who gets to add the next block to the blockchain. The reason why they compete, the reason why they're doing this is because whenever a Bitcoin miner adds a Bitcoin block to the blockchain, it gets paid transaction fees, and it also gets paid a block reward. So the block reward is what comes from the unmined Bitcoin. So there's mined Bitcoin that's circulating, that we're trading, that we're using, and then there's unmined Bitcoin that only becomes mined when a Bitcoin miner adds a block to the Bitcoin blockchain. The block reward used to be 50 Bitcoin, and then it became 25 Bitcoin, and then it became 12.5 Bitcoin, then it became 6.25 Bitcoin, and now it's 3.125 Bitcoin, and it's gonna keep halving. And you probably guessed it, every time it halves, that is called a Bitcoin halving. So a Bitcoin halving occurs every time 210,000 blocks are added to the Bitcoin blockchain. To me, this is what makes Bitcoin a lot like gold, because the farther we go in time, the harder and harder it gets to mine the new Bitcoin. There's only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin. We've got about 1 million Bitcoin that has yet to be mined. The farther we go in time, the harder it is to get at the remaining unmined Bitcoin. So I hope you enjoyed this video. You now know what a Bitcoin block is. It's a page on the ledger. You know what a Bitcoin miner is. It's a thing that's actually adding pages to the ledger and getting compensated to do so. And you know what a Bitcoin halving is. It's a point in time when the block reward gets halved. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave me a thumbs up and I will talk to y'all on the next one.